Bitcoin, man. Holy freaking cow. What a day in crypto land. This is one of those days that you definitely remember. A lot of those up and downs, whatever days, they kind of fade into the memory. But when you see these extreme market events, wowzers, just wowzers. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down what is going on with the crypto markets at the moment, taking a look at Bitcoin, taking a look at who's selling, what we can expect coming in from the market right now. My name is Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing, so if that's a topic that you'd like to learn some more about, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, and of course, hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm. So as you can see, it has been pretty gosh darn brutal. In fact, yesterday's candle actually saw the price of Bitcoin falling from $44,000 all the freaking way down to $30,000. That is nearly a $14,000 daily candle, and a red one at that. I don't want to see a $14,000 green candle. Come on, Bitcoin. Of course, losses can pile up much faster than gains. When panic starts taking over the market, things can move real far south real quick. Now, the low watermark from yesterday was almost 54% below the recent all-time highs. This is extreme stuff here. Back in the previous bull run of 2017, we didn't see any corrections bigger than around 42% at the maximum. So a 53% correction is some really extreme stuff. This is not a typical situation that is playing out in this bull market. And look, no bull market is ever the same. No market is ever the same. Patterns do, of course, tend to rhyme in markets, but when we start to look at percentages and different things like this, times that certain indicators or support lines have been hit during previous market cycles, it's all just kind of food for thought stuff. None of that can actually predict what's going to happen in the future. But that is a pretty extreme market event, no matter which way you would like to cut it. Now, a few thoughts on this here. I am not very excited to see that yesterday's candle, of course, closed below the 200-day moving average. The fact that I'm even talking about the 200-day moving average means that the bears are currently in control of the market. The 200-day moving average, it for me has always been that bull market or bear market line. So we're really close to it right now, but we really want to see candles closing back above the 200-day moving average like sooner than later, right? The fact that we're now closing below the 200-day moving average, that's bearish. There's no way to sugarcoat that and make it seem like everything's just great and dandy, guys. Because closing under the 200-day moving average, that is an indicator that shows that the bears are in charge of the price right now. And doesn't that mean necessarily that the bull market's over? We're not going to see a new all-time high price for Bitcoin for 4 years. You can hold your horses on that. I think that might be a bit too extreme. Never know. This is crypto. Expect the unexpected, and I'll be breaking down, is this a new bear market? Much more for you, looking at some indicators and things in a video very soon, so do stay tuned for that. But we got to get back above that 200-day moving average. You can also see here on the RSI did get to its most oversold levels since March 2020, which of course was the massive COVID sell-off, which is amazing because that was, an understandable event, global stock market crisis, all this kind of stuff going on. Everyone's really afraid for big macro reasons. And now here we have Bitcoin tanking by almost 54%. And on what? On what? Some tweets from Elon Musk, some not really true China FUD, some vague regulatory, we may regulate crypto a little bit more kind of announcements from the OCC and the SEC. Like, this is not big stuff. This is not big stuff, and people are freaking panicking. But that is the market. This is a highly manipulated market, more so than most markets. And to see these kinds of extreme market events, they happen. They certainly test your will, but they do happen. By the way, if you want to buy, sell, or trade all of the top cryptocurrencies, we're talking Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Chainlink, Cardano, whatever your fancy might be, you need to get yourself an account over on Binance. It is the world's best cryptocurrency exchange. And if you use the link down below in the description to start your account, you'll get 10% off of your fees and up to $700 in trading bonuses. So go ahead and check that out. Now let's get into this a little bit more. So Raoul Pal shared some very interesting charts just to give you some perspective on what's actually happening right now in the market. So he shared two different charts here, one from the 2013 bull run and one from the 2017 bull run. Now you can see here the white, that is the current price of Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin price of 2010 to 2013 is the blue chart here. So you can see we're tracking relatively closely to that kind of price action. The charts are lining up in a very, very peculiar fashion. It's quite amazing how, again, history doesn't repeat, but it sure does tend to rhyme sometimes. And this is the Bitcoin price action versus 2016 to 2018. Again, you can see a lot of similarities. This kind of extreme market volatility is not that uncommon for the cryptocurrency markets. Now, as I said, a 54% drop, that is unprecedented in recent times. If we go back to, for example, the 2013 bull run, well, you actually start to see some different things taking place there, because we do have these more extreme price events happening for Bitcoin. Now, it's actually very surprising to see it happening, of course, now in Bitcoin, because the market's so much more mature. We have all the institutional money, yada, yada, yada. But you got to keep it real. The market is still super, super volatile. In fact, here in 2013, you can see there was kind of this double, almost bull run sort of situation where we had this massive markup period and then a 77% correction before going on, of course, to then hit new highs much higher than the dump back here. Now, you gotta keep it real. At the time, the market cap for crypto was microscopic compared to what it is right now, but it just gives us some food for thought that these markets do tend to rhyme a little bit. Now, with the fall in prices, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index has hit its lowest reading since March 2020 during the COVID crisis, the big March sell-off that happened back then. So these times of extreme fear in the market, they tend to be the best buying opportunities. Now, we could stay in a situation of fear for longer. The RSI on the daily could stay oversold for weeks on end. That is a potential thing that can happen. So I'm not saying that that was definitively the bottom. The market is looking really weak right now. We haven't seen the kind of strength coming back in that I would really like to see. Obviously, as I said, I want to see us closing above the 200-day moving average before we can start talking about the bulls regaining control of the market. But these kinds of extreme fear times, for the right kind of investor, they are opportunities. Here's a great quote from Rect Capital. He said, Bitcoin will retrace deep enough to convince you that the bull market is over, and then it will resume its uptrend. In terms of market sentiment, we do see these kind of events happening in the market where you will have this massive retracement that just shakes people out, all of the retail investors. And I hate to say this, but a lot of people are going to get shaken out of the market. The whales come in, they gobble up all the crypto that they sold to people at $50,000 or $60,000. They buy it back from them at $30,000 to $40,000. Rinse and repeat for the next cycle. And as is always happening during these kind of market events, here's the evidence that the whales did indeed step up and buy the freaking dip. So $750 million of the Bitcoin was moved off of exchanges in a 10-minute period today. That's just one event. Of course, more Bitcoin was taken off of exchanges, but that's just a 10-minute blast where we had $750 million of the Bitcoin being bought and removed from the market. That's how big money is playing the game. They see these extreme dip events, they buy like freaking crazy. Now, I was lucky last night to actually have been online at the time of the extreme sell-off, so I was able to pick up some more Bitcoin at $31,000, some Ethereum for just a little bit over $2,000, so that's nice. I was lucky to be able to do that. Now, if the market does continue to trend down, if we do see more bearish sentiment coming in, still have some dry powder on the side to be able to buy some more. I'm never all in the market at any given time, but it did feel pretty good being able to buy Bitcoin at such a low price yesterday. And obviously, here's the evidence. The whales were eating big time. They came in and gobbled up the Bitcoin. Now, this is an interesting bit of information here for you too. 70% of Bitcoin short-term holders are now at a loss. Soon the panicked sellers will run out of profitable coins to sell, at which point downward pressure will disappear. So what we have been largely seeing in the market is that short-term holders tend to be the biggest sellers. So the accumulation addresses for Bitcoin are still on the rise. The long-term holders adding to their positions, and it tends to be a situation where anyone who's bought in, for example, the last year, the last 6 months, the last 3 months, the last month, they're the ones now panic selling their Bitcoin, handing their Bitcoin over to the whales, over to the institutions. And look, I know if you bought Bitcoin at the top and if you're still holding it, or if you capitulated and panic sold, I get it. I really do understand. It is hard watching these extreme market events happen and not panicking a bit when you see something that you bought go down by 50% in value. It can certainly rattle you. But waiting on the other side of your fear are big fat whales waiting to gobble it up, which is unfortunately how this market's been working for a very long time. Now, as some final thoughts here, I wanted to share this from Crypto Cobain over here on Twitter. Here is some scenarios that he's considering based in order of importance. One, that the bull market is over, complacency now, and then going into a bear market. There's potential for a double bubble, so a fake bear for the next few months. People are going to get really the sentiment's going to get really low. People are going to lose interest in the market. Everyone's going to call crypto a big old fat scam, and the bubbles popped, et cetera, et cetera. But we won't go super low in terms of price, and then we'll move into a next major bull market phase. Of course, perhaps this time is different. It's only going to go down. Bitcoin's going to zero. Or, of course, we could be going into a Bitcoin super cycle. Now, they're just some ideas for you to play around with. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I think that's the most important thing that you have to remember all the time in the market. Whether it's me or people on Twitter or other YouTubers or anybody, nobody knows for certain what is going to happen. We all have our opinions. We all have our hopes, our dreams, our desires, but nobody really knows exactly how the market is going to play out. Josh Rager here, he said, I'm still encouraged that this market's going to trend up again, but there will be more pullbacks, multi-week downtrends along the way. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for weeks upon weeks of pain, months upon months potentially of pain before the market has a strong recovery? Have you built such an inevitability into your portfolio? That's something to consider as well. Because when it comes down to it, risk management is what it is all about. And look, anyone out there saying you got lucky, if you have made money in the crypto markets, they've probably not been through these trials of fire, which are mandatory for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency holders. This volatility in the market, it is absolutely infamous. It will come back again and again and again and again. A 54% correction just really proves that just because big money has entered the chat it does not mean that we are not going to have these massive corrections. In fact, the market's probably going to be more and more manipulated the more we see these big money players coming into the cryptocurrency markets. Again, the only thing, you can't control that. You can't control what the big banks are doing. You can't control what the institutions are doing. You can't control what the whales are doing. You can't control what governments are doing. You can just control what's happening to your portfolio personally. So manage your risk. Take those profits when you see the pumping days. Take your profits. You're going to lower your stress so much on your positions. So we are going to have those opportunities again. This asset class is not finished. Anyway, your question for today: is the bear market here? Is that it? We're under the 200-day moving average. It's frickin' over, man. See you in 4 years. Or do you think this is just a fake out? This is a trap for the bears and that we're going to get some recovery coming in pretty soon? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.